Deep Shot Podcast, episode 46.
Dude, I was doing some research earlier trying to figure out a number 46. Here's the one I came up with. Lee Smith. Yeah, retired pitcher Lee Smith played for 8 different teams over his 18-year career in the MLB. Over that time, Smith was a 7-time All-Star selection and was twice named the NL Relief Man of the Year. So the Lee Smith episode, there we go. That's Bleacher Report's best player for every number, and that was it for 46. So unless y'all got another one, I couldn't
see,
think of like a single.
Aaron Bain.
Herm Edwards.
Jason Collins. Wasn't that the gay guy?
Hey, how about this? Alfred Morris. The Alfred Morris episode.
It's actually pretty raw on the show.
Let's dive into it. Wild weekend. There was a lot of blowout. Some things happened for some schools. But the first thing we'll talk about, just because of how ugly it was and how we all picked Michigan State to cover, I've been trying to analyze that game since it happened. And I keep trying to maybe take a little bit away from Ohio State and to say Michigan State, they weren't ready. They didn't show up, blah, 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 blah. Ohio State scored on every drive in the first half. It was 49-0. This score, it was 49-0. Same score as Georgia Charleston Southern at halftime. And Mel Tucker Mel Tucker didn't accept that contract, but got that $95 million fat contract and then goes out and does something like that. Ugly, didn't cover the spread, nothing. It was a total beatdown. Looking at it objectively, Ohio State's definitely the second best team in the country.
They definitely got a stake at it because 49. I mean, that's just damn impressive. There's nothing really else you can say about that. And then I was talking to one of my friends earlier today. He was trying to say that Michigan was going to cover. He's like, "Oh, dude, Michigan State's a fraud. They've been frauds all year." So Michigan State beat Michigan. And then Ohio State just throttled them. I think I agree with you, Garrison. I think Georgia's going to beat Bama, and I think the only team that can take them down might be Ohio State.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you take away Ohio State had a bad loss to Oregon earlier in the year, and it looks even worse now. But in the same week, they go out and dominate the number 7 team in the country. I don't even have anything to say about how just bad Michigan State. They just came out and they just got whooped from the jump. And I made my pick saying I think they're going to have the best player on the field.
Yeah.
And C.J. Stroud was clearly the best player on the field. You're talking about a guy that had 2 incompletions and 6 touchdowns. Not something you see all the time. Against the 7th best team.
And that was all in
country.
the first half.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker, only 6 carries for 25 yards that game. And I saw one of them that was like a 12-yard run on their third drive when it was 14-0, and then they missed a field goal, and it was all over from there. Just an ugly, ugly game. Your friend saying Michigan State are fraud, I would maybe not disagree with that when you look at their schedule this year. I mean, they beat Michigan. I'll give it to them. Big game, rivalry game, came from behind, did what they needed to do. If you really look at their schedule, all their wins: Northwestern, Youngstown State, Miami, Nebraska by 3, Western Kentucky, Rutgers, Indiana by 5, Michigan, and Maryland. I mean, I named you one.
There really is a very impressive one in there.
I named you one good team in Michigan. The Purdue loss, and then this. I mean, just ugly. I mean,
and for the complete record for everybody, if you watch that Michigan State game we talked about a couple weeks ago, Michigan got hosed on a referee call that probably changed the entire game. They probably ended up winning it. That's where we are with that.
That's another thing. The committee, everybody was dogging the committee for putting Michigan ahead of Michigan State. Got to give them credit where credit's due sometimes.
I mean, as long as they don't get 42 zipped at halftime this week, I think the committee will be right.
Well, the spread is at 7.5. That's pretty crazy.
I'm 100% taking Ohio State. A little preview, a little spoiler. I'm going to take Ohio State.
I don't know. I still kind of want Michigan to do it. Never seen it happen. Really,
I'm telling you, that's the main thing. It's just
want them to do it. Are they?
It's for the vibes.
I might be. I don't know yet, but if I do pick Ohio State, I'll be rooting against that bet very hard. There's some other games that happen with some other big teams, but this is something I can't go any further in the show without talking about. Florida, Dan Mullen, gone. Lost to Missouri, deep shot of the week, 3rd straight deep shot of the week. Hits Missouri overtime, going for 2 in the first overtime, just tossing the ball up. I don't know if you guys were watching it, but insane play. Ball was up in the air for a good 10 seconds, came down right into the Missouri player's hands. Dan Mullen probably didn't even get to the plane ride back. The week before, almost lost it, had to score 70 on Samford to save his job, and now it's over. 34-15, and this is a stat that gets me, that I've seen ever since it happened. It's before the shoe game. Dan Mullen was 29-6 at Florida.
Marco Wilson got him fired, is what happened.
29-6. Finishes his career 34-15, fired.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, it
Yeah, I
was a
can't see it
brutal
happen to a
weekend.
worse guy.
It was a brutal weekend. I mean, I was on like a Discord call with a couple of friends of mine, and I told them as we were watching football Saturday, I was not watching the Florida game. That was not something I was just going to be like. I pretty much told most people I don't watch them at this point because I know what they're going to do. They're going to have a bunch of penalties. They're going to play bad in the secondary, and the quarterback's going to like garbage. Well, guess what happened? The same thing happened again. To be honest with y'all, I don't think Dan Mullen should have been fired, but when you go this many games, I mean, this is the worst streak that Florida's had since the end of Muschamps run, really. I still don't think Mullen's a bad coach, though. I think he's going to go somewhere and be right back in the coaching carousel mix in probably 3 years. I think he truly will, wherever he ends up. Only thing I will say that I don't appreciate, they offered to let him coach this last game against Florida State, and he told them no, and he left. I think that's a pretty
He's a
big bitch move.
crybaby bitch. He's a
He
crybaby.
is.
Has been, dude. He's always been right. Like even I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not gonna be able. I can't like speak on it exactly, but even in Dan Mullen's like farewell like article that he had Florida, it was basically like him saying like, yeah, I did a really good job. People around me didn't, couldn't carry it. I'm gonna try and pull it up
Yeah,
real
pull it up.
quick. So this is what Mullen said, and I just think his choice of words are just a little weird here. He says, beginning's kind of normal. He says, I want to thank UF President Dr. Fuchs, Scott Strickland, the Board of Trustees, Gator Nation, for the privilege of being head football coach at the University of Florida. This is where I think it's weird. I will always cherish the 2 national championships we won during my time at UF. Okay, all right. This is
It was 06 and
your
08.
time right here. That was a long time ago. Along with the past 3 New Year's Six Bowls, to name a few. The program has a bright future ahead with the young talent on the team and the new football facility that will be finished next spring. Basically saying, yeah, set them up really good for the future. Got a sick new facility coming in there. Do y'all think that's? I mean,
Yeah,
I might be reaching a little bit because I hate the
definitely.
guy. I hate Florida, but I just think the choice of words there is a little weird. To lead off with, "I'll never forget the 2 national championships we won." It's like, okay, I would probably credit that to Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer a little bit
Mhm.
more than I would Dan Mullen. But you go off.
Speaking of Urban Meyer,
Yeah, maybe.
maybe you think about it. There's a lot of big head coaching jobs up this offseason. I mean, you got USC, LSU, and Florida.
And possibly Miami, too.
Caleb, what are you thinking about head coaching? Who are you looking at?
If I
Is
was to
Kiffin?
pick today, are you talking about this Kiffin madness?
Yeah, there is the Kiffin rumor. I'm not on the Kiffin rumor because I think Lane Kiffin like is in the most perfect situation he could be in at Ole Miss because he's not going to be expected to do anything crazy, and they're always just going to love him. But people are saying
I'm not buying into the Lane Kiffin idea. I don't think he's just going to jump from SEC school to another. If he does leave Ole Miss, I think he'd go out of conference to a team that would pay him a bunch of money, which would be Miami. For
I just
me,
can't see if you got a choice between Florida and Miami. I feel like you gotta go Florida, right? I mean, just
it
about better than never
depends,
seen
man. It
this other.
depends. It depends. Miami, their athletic department's trying to turn things around and starting to put more money into the program and stuff like that too. So whoever lines his pockets better at the end of the day is where he's going to go.
I guess that's true.
But
And the ACC is wide open right now.
exactly, yeah. It's just them, and it's you may have to deal with Clemson next year. We don't really know. But for me, for Florida, I don't want to promote internally. I think we need to get a whole another thing going because it's going to be hard. I don't want Dan Mullen to linger. If he's not there, don't let him be there. So I think we should go out and get Mario Cristobal is exactly who I want. The head coach of the Oregon Ducks. He's a hell of a recruiter, really good O-line coach, always gets him right up front. Saban Tree. I'm pretty sure if I'm not, I may be wrong, but I'm sure Cristobal has worked with Mullen at some point too. Not and I know I said I don't want like that stuff to be around, but maybe he'll come in with a little bit more familiarity with what the players have been through these last couple of years. On the same token, though, like I almost want a defensive coach again
yeah,
because
I think
we
that's
are
where
really
Florida
bad
should
on
go.
defense.
Yeah, you have been for a while.
We have been since Muschamp left. That was the last time we had a good defense.
In the SEC, like obviously with the best teams usually are running the best defense.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about some other games. Arkansas, Bama. I just want to
Close one.
say,
Close one.
I want to put it out there that Bama does not scare me as a Georgia football fan. Georgia or Alabama officially like just does not scare me because when I look at their body of work, they have struggled to beat so many teams that Georgia would. Well, one, Georgia didn't even allow a point to. We saw them struggle against LSU. We've seen them lose to Texas A&M. We've seen them really. Their only two big wins are Ole Miss and Mississippi State. I mean,
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah,
I mean,
still.
Yeah.
but I mean, and Tennessee. I mean, that was a fourth quarter run. It was a 3-point game and late in the fourth quarter. I mean, they don't scare me. Like, I don't think Alabama's defense is good enough to really stop anybody. I think their offense is obviously going to score, but I think like even Bryce Young had a good game. I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, he had a really good game, but there were some throws in that game, probably about 2 or 3 throws where he threw behind his receivers, kind of looked a little uncomfortable. He obviously ended up with like 500 yards, did what he needed to do, but he also had to do that because of Arkansas was right there behind him the whole time. Looking ahead, Alabama doesn't scare me. Arkansas, credit to them. I knew they were good enough to do something like that. But Alabama does not scare me. I think Georgia's defense will absolutely get after Alabama's offense, something they haven't seen before. And if Bryce Young, like I said, makes 2 or 3 mistakes like he kind of did in that Arkansas game, which kind of kept them around, Alabama made a lot of mistakes in that game on the offense and defense side of the ball that kept Arkansas in that game. You do that against us, it's just not going to work.
More so than anything, their
absolutely,
freaking defense is a little bit porous compared to past years. But I think that's the reason why I would agree with you, Garrison, as Georgia should be afraid of Ohio State, who's got it together on defense at this point, and they are looking like clockwork on offense. You know, Bama, yes, they're going to be really good on offense. We know this. They had 670 yards of offense against an Arkansas team that's respectable on defense. I mean, you have to give them a little bit of credit. They're in the SEC. But they also gave up 460 to the same offense that Georgia basically allowed 100 yards to. And they're not much different. Maybe a little healthier. That's about it.
It was the same thing.
Yeah,
Alabama had a home game, 3:30, like all the hype. It was the same thing.
Yeah, Arkansas hardly passed the 50. I think they had one drive in the first half that went past the 50. And then they didn't even almost sniff the end zone until the last drive of the game when the backups were in. And the same team scores 35 points against Alabama. I'm with you, Garrison. I'm not really worried about them, and it's a weird feeling. I'm not on the surface. You know, on paper, I'm like, yeah, we're better. Once we take that field, though, I know for a fact I'm gonna be like, oh God, all right, here we go.
There's a Bama effect.
This would be the worst year, and I've been saying this. I've been talking about this all day. Honestly, is out of every year, like we've seen a lot of heartbreak against Alabama, but this would not like this year would hurt, even though we would still be in the playoff and we would be right there, still have our everything in front of us. I mean, this team that we have is undoubtedly way better than theirs, and this is just needs to happen, and I think it will.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you better take care of business in the SEC championship. That way, you don't have to see Alabama again. That's what better happen.
Yeah.
If you're trying to look forward, you better boot them out while you can.
Are we gonna stick with Stetson? I think we might. I think we might.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch his little feature?
I did. It was awesome. I loved it. It's just, dude, at this point, man. I mean, I hope this is just the thing. Is I keep on looking back. It's like that scene in Interstellar where Matthew McConaughey is beating on the bookshelf, like looking at the girl, you know, not doing what she needs to do. This is gonna be that's me looking back at my past self, saying, "Yeah, let's start Jake Fromm over Justin Fields." And I hope there's not another me sitting back watching this me talk about starting Stetson Bennett over JT Daniels. But we look good. We look really good with that. I mean,
we do look good, but also, you know, Stetson had a pass deflected by a Charleston Southern defensive lineman that got intercepted. You know, that kind of But I think just with this defense,
it doesn't matter.
It's really hard to like think like realistically you score 24, 28, game's probably out of reach. That's the way I look at it.
You're not wrong.
Oregon, Utah.
This one was bad.
This one was so bad from the jump. And I just want to go ahead and say that I bet on Oregon. I followed with my picks, all that. But the moment, and I knew about this already, but I didn't think about it. The moment, rest in peace to the two dudes. But the moment they showed that Utah was wearing those jerseys for those two guys that passed away on their team earlier in the year, and they had all this momentum. It was a night game. It was the biggest game. I think the highest ranked opponent they were ever playing at home. As soon as I saw that in pregame, I was like, don't feel good about this one at all. And Oregon just looked trash. Oregon's been on the downslope. I feel like, Oregon hit the peak when they beat Ohio State and Ohio State, and then they just, were kind of riding the coattails, and the playoffs were committee was just kind of giving them what they could. But, Oregon's out. And credit to Utah, credit to you, Caleb. You called it, demolished them.
They're frauds, baby. They're complete
I
frauds.
just don't get how they went to the horseshoe and beat Ohio State. Yeah, that's the thing. I
Ohio State
can't.
was in shambles at that point. And let's not forget, Ohio State also fired their D coordinator like right after that happened.
I forgot
Yeah.
about that. I had
Things
forgotten
have
about it.
changed up there in the horseshoe, and things have changed for Oregon too. Like Oregon, like we said last week, they just don't look the same. And Utah had the biggest crowd they've ever had at their home stadium. Like Garrison said, highest ranked they come in there, live TV, big night for the seniors. I mean, it was like 24-0, like going into halftime. I was like, holy shit, Oregon is dead. So now the Pac-12 is dead.
Yeah, that's the camel.
Back where they
That's
belong.
the straw that broke the camel's back. I think I do want to make an announcement real quick. And this comes with a heavy heart. I think we have entered Fade Jake territory. I think it's time to, if I pick something, you just go opposite. I cannot catch a break in NCAA. I can't do it. I don't know what the issue is. I really tried hard this week. Here we are.
Yeah.
Listen, man, when you keep on taking these overs, you know,
Dude, it's not even that, man.
Then the one under he takes.
yeah.
I'll miss the over-unders, but shit, I'm missing everything. I'm
Dude,
missing
I felt like that's how this week it was. So the record was me 5-5, Jake 2-9, Caleb 6-4, and I feel like with all this, I missed all the spreads except for Arkansas. I even missed my first lock of the week this year. That hurt. That was real brutal. But the over-unders saved me. It was the only reason I was even alive. And Missouri. Shout out Missouri. Clemson, Wake Forest. So if Wake Forest loses, so Wake Forest lost this game, it was obvious that Clemson has a really good defense, and their offense showed up for the first time forever. They had a few good turnovers, too. There was one play when I was watching this game early in the first quarter, which is undoubtedly the reason the game went the way it did. I think it was 3-0 Clemson. Uka Gluck backed up. It was 3rd and long, and he got almost sacked once. Then he got almost sacked twice. Ran around, and it looked like he was just throwing the ball out of bounds. But then, of course, 50 yards downfield at the 10-yard line, he had a wide open receiver sitting there. Because I was watching the game in my head, I was like, "Let's go, Wake. We got this. Let's go." And then as soon as that happened, I was like, "Not good." And then Wake had a few chances to get back into the game. They had Clemson fumbled the ball like inside the Wake 20, only up by like 7, I think. And then Wake got it. And then the next play, they fumbled it right back to Clemson. Coaching, I feel like coaching probably had a lot to do in this game too. I mean, Clemson's still here. And if Wake Forest loses this week, Clemson is in the ACC championship.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I was definitely cheering for Wake Forest pretty hard. I sprinkled their money line, and like you said, dude, they had so many opportunities to get right back in it, and they kept squandering it. But that's something. I mean, for our credit, that's something that we said. I mean, Clemson's issue this year has been their offense. Their defense is still really solid. They still have a defense that can go toe to toe
Top 3
with their defenses they've had like over their run of the last couple seasons. Their defense has not slouched any. It's that offense. So this was something that we probably saw coming. Wake Forest's high-powered offense wasn't going to be able to just carry over and go into this Clemson game. Yeah, so I was cheering for him, but to be completely honest, I wasn't too shocked. And that's what the game lost was what you're talking about was when Clemson fumbled, Wake got it back. I was like, all right, here we go, and then boom, they give it right back. That's when the game was over.
Very, very brutal for Wake Forest to be on top of the world, and they are dead at this point. I mean, say what you want to. They had a good season. They're still going to have a good season regardless how it shakes because nobody thought they'd even be a top 25 team. But just at the end of the day, their defense is what got them. And their offense didn't take care of the ball good enough. I guess you can't count out the ukulele man anymore. I mean, Clemson is starting to click a little bit on offense.
Yeah. That going into that game, Gluck had his highest passing yard game of the season going into it at 241 the week prior. He only had 208 this game, but the running back had 191 yards on 24 carries. Defense made plays. Wrap it up. Notre Dame, are they close? They'll probably be 6 in the rankings tomorrow. 55-0 win. That should have been the lock of the week.
Would not have been a bad pick. I don't know. I think because here's my whole thing about that is if you try and put them in, Cincy's going to have to make it too. Like it's going to have to be both of them, assuming that Cincy doesn't slip up. You know what I mean? Because they beat them straight up. I think it'd be just kind of sick if you put Notre Dame and over.
But what if we end up in a situation where they're both?
That would be wild because at that point
That
you
would
got to
assume that a lot of
that
teams have
Bama and
lost.
Ohio, Bama's out. Either one of Bama or Ohio State's in there.
But then Michigan's got to
Georgia,
lose
Ohio
too.
State, Cincinnati, Notre Dame.
Okay, well,
It's
we
a
might
lot
as well
of
just have a
That's
national
assuming-
championship.
that's
We
assuming
shouldn't even
the
have
other
playoff
team-
games.
That's assuming Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's not dead yet either. Big game this week, and then would play, I think, Oklahoma again, or no, they would play. Depends if Baylor wins, or I think. But I mean, they're going to play Oklahoma this week. They're favored. I think Oklahoma State definitely beats Oklahoma this week. Then Oklahoma State's right there, one loss, and Oklahoma State's good. I just want to put that out there. Oklahoma State's a really damn good football team, especially in the Big 12. To give up no points in a game this week, 23-0 win. Oklahoma State's right there too, and I wouldn't mind seeing the Pokes make their way there.
Hey, Michigan's not dead either now. Don't sleep on the Harbaugh khakis here.
Yeah, I mean, if they beat Ohio State, they're right back in this. But that's a big ask for Ohio.
That is a huge ask.
Michigan's the team to beat Ohio State and then lose in the Big Ten championship and just blow it all.
I don't even know, man. Like, Notre Dame is going to be in the conversation. Cincinnati's got to lose for them to get in, though, in my book. And even then, I hope they don't get in. I'm tired of seeing the Fighting Irish and them gold helmets get their shit beat 48-0 in the freaking playoff game. I'm so tired of it.
Well, that's the thing, man, is we have such a long leash for Notre Dame. But, like, I just know – I mean, look, here's the thing. We've said it a couple times over the last couple episodes. For Cincinnati to get in, everybody else is going to have to lose. It wasn't going to be a situation where Cincy just runs the table and it's automatically in there. It was going to have some sort of outside force. It wasn't going to be all up to them. Notre Dame can literally go to the playoff every single year, like have a good regular season and get in there and then get their backs blown out and then rinse and repeat the next year. But we have such a raging hard on for the Power Five, and we're so loud. It's like, oh, since he can't make it, but we're just so eager to put Notre Dame right back in there. Like, wow, I just don't get how we are having this conversation again this year, talking about, hey, you think Notre Dame can get back in there based on the past? Like, hey, they've made the playoff what 3 times?
Twice, I think.
Who else you gonna put in, Jake?
I don't know. I just don't want to put their bitch ass in there. I mean, that's what it goes down to. It's more of a. I would rather see somebody new or see anybody else.
That's why I'm feeling. And then people,
put
I think people that still try to give Oklahoma love, we cannot sit here and act like Oklahoma deserves a chance.
No chance. No chance. They're dead.
All right. Anything else in college football before we move on?
Jake almost submitted a second lock. I don't know if he got it on his card or not, but BYU -20 over Southern did not cover this past week.
Yeah, that hurt.
Went 1-1 on the locks for the record. So I still did hit one of them. I still did hit one. Taylor +1.
There you go. Or do we count it as a parlay and you just take another loss?
I did say parlay. I did say parlay.
All or nothing.
No. 1-1. I like that. Come on, my college football record is so bad. You got to give me a little bit of slack on this one.
That's the only reason you were 2-9. You would have been just 1-9 if we kept it as a parlay.
But yeah, even at halftime, dude, Southern was winning. It was 17-14.
I texted Jake and I was like, BYU needs to step it up. He was like, yeah, for real. I was like, who gets the ball to start second half? He's like, no clue. I'm hammered.
I'd say so. A little story time. So we were at the house, drinking, and then we're like, all right, it's like 3:15. Right, all right. Let's start heading to the stadium. The game started at 4. We start passing by the old Blue Room because it's like right there before you get to the stadium. And me and my buddy Wizzo and Jason, we were walking by. I was like, you want to go inside Blue Room real quick, get a couple shots, maybe get a drink, and then rally on over to the game like right when it starts. They're like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Never made it to the game. Sat in there. It took a little bit too many. I was asleep at like 9:45.
Yeah. I literally, this was probably the first Saturday in probably like a month that I was able to like just indulge all day in college football, and I had like 20 bets out. So I was literally locked in, and I was watching that East Carolina game went back and forth, and that one really hurt to not hit. But like that, so when I was texting, I was so indulged. I was like, dude, we need all these to hit, blah 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 blah. And when Jake just was like, no clue, like a little bit of me like was pretty pissed for a second. I was like, this motherfucker, dude, gives the locks out. This motherfucker gives the locks out and just doesn't even fucking watch it. What the fuck? But
Yeah.
I had like a whole message typed out, like, "What the fuck, Jake?" Like, I was so mad, like I was getting so angry.
Oh, dude. I mean, so the like the bar that I was sitting at. So it's like a rectangle bar. I was sitting at one of the ends, and they couldn't even get the game on there because they had to stream it. So I was like watching like across the bar. There was one TV had on the Georgia Southern BYU game, and for the record, like the first quarter, I mean, I was watching it pretty good, and then after a while, it started to get a little loose. And honestly, that was just not in the front of my mind. I was just focused on having a good time.
All credit to him. All right, let's get into the NFL. First, I just want to say rest in peace to the Atlanta Falcons from last Thursday.
Mhm.
That was brutal. And Jake called it on the pod and then switched everything up. But
Yeah, dude, that's what I was listening. I was listening to it the other day. My prediction for the Falcons Patriots was about perfect, and then I just decided to change it.
How was it, Caleb? You were there?
It was empty, would be the word I would use to describe that. There's not many people at the stadium, but it was fun for me to watch New England play in person. Mac Jones, that walk is unbelievable. Everybody knows Mac Jones' strut at this point. And yeah, he's got a certain tempo to him about it. More than anything, New England's defense is really good. That's the main thing that struck out to me.
in the
NFL right now. Yeah.
Yeah, now the end of the game was a rager. Like kind of in the same mode that Jake was at the Southern game by that time of the game. And so we're stealing somebody's seats in the end zone. We're sitting there watching. Interception. Okay, Matt Ryan. Cool. Bring in the next guy. Pick six. And at that point, I'm like, all right, let's go. So we start walking out of the stadium. Before I get out of the stadium, they throw another interception. I thought it was fabulous.
Man, that was a tough one to watch.
It was
Another game
porn.
of just torture porn. Yep, exactly. Yep.
You were on them last episode with analysis. You did come to play in the NFL.
Oh, dude, that's what I'm saying, man. I'll drop it.
Let's just talk about the games we picked. Let's go ahead. The Ravens Bears. We just all want to put it out there. I don't think anyone on this pod knew Lamar wasn't playing.
Nope.
Yeah, we really should get that scrub from our record right there, honestly.
Oh, I think so too. See, I will say this. I think that I may still have taken the Ravens, but if I would have taken
the over.
It definitely wouldn't have taken the over, and it wouldn't have been Ravens minus 5.5. It might have been like Ravens. Hell, it might have even been Ravens plus points. It might have been Ravens -1, -2, which would have covered.
What was the game time line? -1. It was -1 at game time.
-1.
Oh.
So here's the rule. Since that happened, it all adjusts for us, and we won.
So Ravens -1 at game time, and then the over/under was 40.5, which I mean wasn't much. It was only 5 points different from what we picked.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That game got lit.
How about Andy Dalton coming into the game, and he like 2 plays in had a touchdown pass. Now, to be fair, it was
he
green.
aired it out on that bubble. That's what I thought was so funny. The announcer was like, "It only takes Andy Dalton two plays to drive the field." It's like, what? He just threw a bubble screen Darnell Mooney. Mooney made like 6 people miss and goes 70 yards, and you're going to say that what a play by Andy Dalton. What a call.
He did have 200 yards passing.
Yeah, and short notice too.
Darnell Mooney, though, shout out him. He's a beast. And just, I think the takeaway from this game, the Ravens just win. They just know how to win. They didn't have Lamar. They didn't have Lamar or Marquise Brown in this game. We obviously know they don't have like almost everybody else they wanted to have this season.
Mm-hmm.
They're 7-3.
Just know how to do it. Devontae Freeman has just completely revitalized his career. He's a solid back right now. Solid back.
It's probably pretty nice. The quarterback is a threat too.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, there's no question about that. He is definitely in the best offense suited for him. It's all around the run. Even their pass plays are based around the run. If he was anywhere else, I'm sure he wouldn't have the success he's doing. But I'm in a 20-team league at work, and he's actually my running back too.
Really?
He's solid. Yeah, it's not been bad.
That does not sound fun. 20 teams?
It's not. It's not. It's not.
That sounds horrendous.
But I'm gonna win it. I'm right there, like on like making the playoffs and not making the playoffs. I've rallied 3 straight wins. 10.
What?
Yeah, it's
should be 8 at max.
I think it's I'm pretty sure it's 10, and then it's like the last 5 weeks.
The Bills are frauds. I'm on the train.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on it. Fuck them. Fuck Josh Allen. Fuck that shit, dude. I'm just so tired of this bullshit. Bills. I mean, they've lost to 3 of their last 5,
Yeah,
And it all started
2 of their last
with
3.
one of those losses to the fucking Jacksonville Jaguars, lost to the Titans on Monday night, and then gets smacked by the Colts. They're playing this. Their schedule doesn't get easier either. I mean, they go to the Saints this Thursday for Thanksgiving. Then they played the Patriots Monday Night Football, and then they played the Bucks at the Bucks. Then they play the Panthers, and then they play the Patriots at the Patriots, and then they play the Falcons, and then they play the Jets. So
Ooh,
Well,
gets a little tough right there
they
at the
have
end.
2 wins at the end of the season. They get 2 buys. So here's my thing, Garrison. I don't think I'm ready to put the F word on them yet. I'm not ready to say they're frauds.
fuck them.
Because I don't think the Colts are a bad team, man. The Colts play really tough right now. And Quentin Nelson did get hurt, which if that's going to be a blow for them, that's going to be a blow for their playoff run. If that injury is, something that's sustainable, that goes on for weeks on, that'll be tough. But with Jonathan Taylor playing like the best running back in the NFL, Carson Wentz makes plays, man. Big Cat says it best. He says Carson Wentz has never seen a play that he can't make. Michael Pittman's playing well. Win that
realistically,
team.
he's not even doing anything.
No, it's
not
Jonathan Taylor.
He's not doing anything crazy, but he's doing what he needs to do to win games. He's not killing them. Like there was a couple games earlier in the season where you could bounce at your clock to Carson Wentz making a big mistake late in the game to fuck themselves over. That hasn't happened in the last couple of weeks. He's been able to, come back to it. It's a solid starter, and that's the key, because they have players around him. They have a solid defense. They have a great O-line. They have a great running back. They have decent receivers that can make plays. As long as he can just make the smart plays, they're a tough team. They're going to be a tough out come playoff time. I'm telling you right now.
Yes, they will be. And the main thing is if they got Darius Leonard back there on defense, who has had a massive year on defense, combine that with Jonathan Taylor being having basically coming out to probably being a top 3 running back in the NFL.
I think he's top 1 right now. I think he's the best running back in the NFL right now. Right now.
Jonathan Taylor.
With Derrick Henry out, with Kamara kind of sliding, with Christian McCaffrey.
Kamara's out too.
Great.
Christian McCaffrey not doing great. What are you talking about?
Okay, he's not doing bad, but he's not
scoring 5 touchdowns.
He's not scoring 5 touchdowns. Exactly. He's not on Jonathan Taylor's level right now.
You also got to consider that Indy has the best O-line in the league too. Like this is a perfect storm.
Yes.
They have the best O-line in the league.
The list of players in the NFL that have rushed for 175 yards, 4 touchdowns, and caught a touchdown.
I'm assuming there's one.
You want me to list every single one of them? It's Jonathan Taylor. End of list. In the entire storied history of the NFL. One person.
Jonathan Taylor, over 1,000 yards already, which here's another stat. Derrick Henry had 937 yards at the time he got injured.
That's ridiculous.
Jonathan Taylor also has the longest run in the league this year at 83 yards. Leads the league in rushing touchdowns, second in yards per game to Derrick Henry. First downs, 68. Yeah. Next closest guy was Derrick Henry at 49. So
let's just get this out there that Jonathan Taylor handed Garrison an unexpected L in fantasy this week.
Yeah, that it is season. Ripping pussy.
Also, have y'all peeked at the Hard Knocks?
Is first episode out?
That was the thing. I saw where
out.
Naheem Hines was fanboying over Tavon Austin.
Oh, I did see that. I did see that clip. Now that you say that, I did see that. I haven't watched it yet.
Today. I watched it today. It was actually it's better than old Hard Knocks has been because it's just like the last couple of years Hard Knocks has first been about COVID.
Yeah.
And then secondly, it's been about like just practice, getting through it, getting ready for the season. Okay, well now they're in the middle of that damn thing. But the only thing that bothered me about this episode is like the first 20 minutes was about how everybody's wives were pregnant on the team. But
gotta let them know.
Count on that HBO doing something stupid like that.
Fathers.
Yeah, that's my whole thing about Hard Knocks. That's my whole thing about Hard Knocks is I enjoy Hard Knocks. I look forward to it. I just think we've seen it so many times. Like at this point, I feel like I know how a training camp goes. Basically, you know what I'm saying? You just see kind of how different teams go about it, and this is just a refreshing new look at it. I enjoy it, and I just really hope. So, is there like a set when it ends, or is it like when the Colts season ends, it ends. Like
That's
the
a
Colts,
good question. I don't
if
know.
the Colts theoretically go on a tear here, win the Super Bowl, is there going to be a Hard Knock? Because that would be the coolest episode in everything ever. If like there's like a Super Bowl week, Hard Knocks.
How many? All the Hard Knocks seasons are the same, so they usually all have like I think it's 6 or 8 episodes.
Well, yeah,
I
but
would
that's
assume
all for
what
the
this is gonna be.
preseason. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's
Looking it
true.
up.
Another thing about the show, it started
9
last.
episodes. It goes all the way to January 12th. So
That's the last week of the season.
Yeah.
Dude, also,
I'd like to see him do it. I don't know. The AFC is just wide open right now, like wide ass open. You know, you got the Patriots are shooting up the board right now. You see the Bills are looking shaky. The Chiefs have had their issues.
Chiefs are back though.
Chiefs are back though. Let's talk about
I
it.
don't know.
Chiefs.
I mean, yeah, let's talk about the Chiefs.
How about it?
Chiefs are back.
Hey, we talked about college records. We should talk about the NFL. Jake went 5-4. I went 2-9.
Wait. You got to adjust. We all won the Ravens game.
Mm-hmm.
So I went 6-3. You
Okay.
went 3-8. And what did Caleb go?
No, I went 2-7.
Nice.
And Caleb went 5-2. So I'll put those out there. Fade me in the NFL. I sent you guys a text. I'm like 3-17 the last 2 weeks. So
definitely. It's Operation Fade Me on Saturday, Fade Garrison on Sunday, and boom, your mortgage is paid for. You can literally live wherever you want.
System.
Yeah.
It's just all system plays.
We're giving away free money.
Yeah. But the Chiefs, huge win. The Cowboys didn't do anything. I mean, who would have thought? Now, when we all said the Chiefs were going to figure it out at some point, I feel like most people assumed that. We didn't think
we didn't mean on defense.
Yeah.
We didn't mean to figure it out on defense. They meant figure it out on offense and stop turning the ball over, and here we are. And Dallas had the number 1 offense in the league coming to this game. They're going to score 9 points on the worst defense.
Crazy.
What the fuck?
I turned the ball over 3 times. I think this game comes down to Arrowhead is probably the most intense place to play in the NFL.
It is real home field advantage. It is. It's as real as it gets. Think about this, man. So the last 3 games for the Cowboys, they get blown out by the Broncos.
And brutal.
They rail the Falcons, but who gives a shit? The Falcons are like literally one of the worst teams in the NFL. And then you get beat. I mean, the final score wasn't terrible, I guess. I mean, it was relatively close throughout the game, but the Chiefs kind of kept their hand on their throat about the whole game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they kept their distance on the Cowboys side.
Well, I think the Cowboys are starting to get injured, and that's the problem. Like Tyron Smith, I just saw a graphic on ESPN. I'm watching Monday Night Countdown right now, and they were saying basically when Tyron Smith is his left tackle, Dak Prescott's the best quarterback in the league. When he's not, his QBR is under 50.
Ooh.
Pair that with
Good
Zeke
stat.
getting hurt also in the game. Pretty much eliminated their run ability, and CeeDee Lamb got hurt in the middle of the game too. I just don't think it was their night, man. I mean, and like y'all say, you talk about Arrowhead, prime time, they always get up for those games. I mean, if you're thinking about places that is toughest to play in the NFL, Arrowhead's definitely top 3. I would probably throw in New Orleans as one of those other teams.
Superdome,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
You know, it's just you're gonna deal with that on they say it's been the loudest, and Seattle would probably be the other one. Those because they're all the 3 loudest stadiums in the NFL.
I would love to go see a game at Arrowhead. I really would. That's like up there on my bucket list of like NFL stadiums I want to go see.
Gotta give them call Malik.
Yeah.
Some other games. Dude, Green Bay, Minnesota. This was another game going in, like, as I was watching Fox NFL Sunday, that I really was leaning towards the Vikings because the Vikings usually always beat the Packers at least once. The Vikings, low-key, the Vikings are pretty gas.
They are.
They're sneaky. They've
lost some really good, really close games. They've had some heartbreakers.
Kirk Cousins, I'm about to pull up his stats here in a second, but Kirk Cousins has, like,
he's in the MVP conversation.
Top 3 quarterback in the league this year. Like
he's in the MVP conversation. We got to put that out there. He's definitely in it.
Well, this is like while you're looking that up, I'll just read off. So the Vikings are now 5-5. Here are their 5 losses. The Bengals by 3, the Cardinals by 1, the Browns by 7, okay, the Cowboys by 4, and the Ravens by 3. They literally have not lost a game by more than 7 points. Yeah. There's something to be said about that. That's all I'm saying.
Kirk Cousins, 2,775 yards, 21 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Wow, 21-2.
21-2. It's different, but his rating is a 106, which I think is the
This is
highest.
average.
106.3, second highest in the league to Kyler Murray.
Not bad. It's not bad. I wonder how that.
Actually, Joe Flacco's number one, or Cam
Ooh.
Newton's
Oh,
number
not-
one. Actually,
There we go. Cam and Joe
Flacco,
Flacco.
Kyler. Kirk.
What a group right there. Here's my thing about the Vikings. They have talent. You cannot deny that they have talent. Just look at their three best offensive weapons, like Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and Dalvin Cook. That's a damn good offense, bro. You need to be scoring points. So, good shit, Kirk. You got really good numbers, but kind of have the facilities to do some pretty crazy numbers. Does that make sense? I mean,
It does make sense. But
they should be good, but
He's had these
weapons.
You can't count against him just for having weapons. I mean, that's not his fault,
He's had these weapons for years, and this is the best year he's had with them. Like, even when he had Stephon Diggs and Thielen as in his younger days, he still couldn't put together a year like this. I mean, it's just and the crazy thing is those years he was playing bad, and they were still winning games. They just lost the primetime games.
The Cowboys loss, I mean, that's kind of tough considering that. I mean, the Cowboys defense has played good and everything, but he lost to a backup there. So that one kind of another game. Let's just talk about the Sunday night game. I'm looking at all the other games. Did you guys have any of the day games you were fiending to talk about?
The thing I would say is the Lions cannot win a game to save their lives. Like, they find ways to lose. Once again, they did it by 3 this time. And
the Titans. The Titans? How about it? We should have seen that coming from a mile away.
Weird, right?
I had been saying I kept going against the Titans, kept going against the Titans, kept going against the Titans. Because I kept saying, but I just wasn't thinking the team they're playing has to be really bad.
They play up to their opponents or they'll play down to their opponents. I mean, their 3 losses. I mean, okay, the Cardinals are good, but then the Jets and the Texans, dude.
Yeah. And Tannehill threw 4 interceptions.
Yeah, now the weather was extremely sloppy. Full disclaimer.
Well, the Texans had to play in that weather too.
I mean, I'm
5 turnovers for the Titans. Listen to this. Listen to these stats. Titans 5 turnovers. Houston 0. Yards. Tennessee 420. Houston 190.
What?
Yeah, dude. Tannehill threw 4 picks. He had 300 something yards.
Wow.
Yeah, and he threw them all basically in the red zone too. That's the bad part. They were all on their way to score on decent drives, and that's what happened. I mean, credit to Houston, man. They keep pulling them out. The one they needed.
Keep winning that first win since week 1.
Yeah. One game I want to talk about. How you gotta watch out for them damn Texans, bro.
I'm not gonna.
Caleb's NFL take. Jets are the hottest team in football. The Texans pull another one out.
Houston's on their way to being the hottest team. They're not yet though, but they're on the uptick.
Who's the hottest team right now? The Dolphins.
It was the Bears until the Ravens did what they did.
But they're talking about I'm talking about the Raiders. Raiders lost their 3rd straight game.
Dude, the Raiders. I said this last week. The Raiders have just lost too much. Eventually, it just it becomes too much. It was a cool little story. After a week or two when they were able to keep winning, but you can't lose your head coach and probably your best offensive threat.
Yeah, I mean the corner really didn't matter, but at the same time, it's probably a little bit of culture shock, and that happens. You're damn, man, that's 2 first-round picks that we've had over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Those are no longer on the team. It's a lot easier to deal with a bust than it is, literally kicking a former first-round pick off for behavior.
Yeah, Darren Waller hasn't had a crazy year either.
Mm-mm.
The Raiders they're dead.
And that was definitely a good get back game for the Bengals after they've been sliding for a little bit.
The Bengals are definitely finishing 10-7.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be that kind of team. I mean, we didn't think they were as talented as what their record was when they were 6-1 or whatever it was, but now they've. Also, one thing I want to say, Eagles handled New Orleans this week. Their schedule gets really easy right here at the end of the season too. I would watch out for them. I mean, they're going to run the ringer in the NFC East, but their next few games, they got the Giants, the Jets, the football team, the Giants, the football team again, and they finish the season with Dallas.
I'm rooting for the Eagles.
Me too, honestly.
The Cardinals beat the Seahawks
And I mean, I kind of ate my own words on this one. I said, if Kyler and D-Hop don't play, I mean, maybe I go with the Seahawks, but they didn't play and they still
Yeah,
won.
so now you don't want that.
No. I listened to my words, listened to them closely. I said, if they don't play, I would want to switch to the Seahawks, but I never said that I would want to. Okay, I said I would think about it. Okay,
So did you or what?
So I didn't. I stayed with the Cardinals.
Interesting.
All right, Sunday night.
Dude, the Seahawks are just dead. The Seahawks are terrible.
Seahawks are dead. I keep that every week. I've been saying like they just have to win one. They have to win one. I guess they don't. Pete Carroll's probably out the door.
He probably is.
So is Russell Wilson.
Russell
Wilson's
honestly
honestly
that bitch for him
dude.
too.
It might. Dude, that's gonna be a weird sight to see Russ on another team. Where do you think he goes?
New Orleans.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm already thinking about it.
Oh no, that would be horrible.
I would cry, dude. I'm telling you. That would break me. That would break me.
All right, Sunday night. This was the most wild game of the day. What a cover by the Steelers. Didn't pick it, but what a cover. It was 27-10. Well, okay, really, this game was going back and forth. Like, started out, Steelers went down, got 3. Chargers went down, got 7. Steelers went down, should have got it 7. Got stuffed at the 2. For some reason, tried to pass on like 3 straight downs instead of just running the ball with Najee Harris at the 2-yard line. Then the Chargers go back at Steelers were kind of 17-10.5. Chargers had a good third quarter, and then the fourth quarter was, I mean, the most wide open fourth quarter I've ever seen. There was a blocked punt. There was like an illegal formation that made them punt again. So there was a blocked punt. Big Ben was just out there dominant.
Just dealing, man.
Dealing. The Chargers really tried to give that one away, and they almost did. But they pulled it out. And the whole reason the Steelers look, I just want to say I think the Steelers are a pretty good football team, and if they had T.J. Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick, that game would have been
a lot different. It would have been a lot different. You would like to think
because Justin Herbert was running everywhere. That does not happen with T.J. Watts on your defensive line.
No,
just real quick, Herbert's stats: 30 for 41, 382 yards, 3 touchdowns, 9 carries, 90 yards.
Yeah.
Well, have we ever even seen Justin Herbert run for even close to 90?
Even when you say just 9 carries for 90 yards, those carries were bigger than what the yardage says. Because like all of them were like on 3rd and 10, they're playing 2-man, and he's just running off for 15 yards and sliding. Like those are backbreakers.
He had that one really big carry where who was it? It was Cam Hayward, I think. Had
he had to go chase it down.
Play like 30 yards downfield.
Yeah, and Cam Hayward gave him a little bit of a cheap shot, a little shove to the chest.
He did. I saw that. I was like, whoa, that didn't get caught.
I thought I thought that was going to be a flag. There were a couple plays in that game. There were a couple plays in that game that I thought was going to be flags. There was some instance where LA turned the ball over to somebody on Pittsburgh, and then a lineman just comes in and just spears a dude. No penalty. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Where he literally like helmet to helmet thing.
Oh, when he did it to Najee.
Yeah. That's what it was.
And
they put him out of the game. Yeah. He had a bit of an abysmal game, but I'm with you, Garrison. Like Pittsburgh, I don't know what to think about either of these teams because I think both of them are kind of middle of the road at this point. But Pittsburgh with Minkah and T.J. Watt, they are and Cam Hayward on defense. That's scary. Big Ben's got to just keep playing decent though, and keep just dishing the ball out when he can get it. And it was interesting to see them without Najee Harris for once. I mean, like, because he went out for a good little while in that game, and when he came back, he wasn't much of a factor.
They went down the field without him. Deontay Johnson, beast.
Deontay Johnson's really good, man. He just as long as he just holds on to the ball.
I didn't start.
Last year that was a huge problem. Last year he was dropped. Last year he had like 20 drops. This year he only has like 1.
He went over 100. Claypool was right there at 93. I'm just looking at the box right now. Those 41 points in the fourth quarter. 41 points.
Crazy. Both of the nightcap to it to be just like that, and it kept going back and forth. And if you like just watching it, it just felt like, okay, well this is over. Okay, well this is over. No, it's not over. Okay, well this is over.
So
it was the most wide open
5 minutes left. With 5 minutes left, the Steelers were down by 14. With 5 minutes left, a minute and 26 seconds later, they were up by 3.
Yeah, and also Pittsburgh got the ball back right there at the end and kept screwing themselves. Like I
They
genuinely
got
felt
sacked
like
like 3 times in a row.
they
Like,
got
just-
sacked. They threw some incompletions. Yeah, but
Pittsburgh had so many opportunities in that game. The fact that everything went their way in the fourth quarter until that last drive, because they got the
Yep.
blocked punt. The next drive, they had the huge tipped pass. Also, when they when they blocked the punt, it went out of bounds. They were the 2. They got the 4th and goal, had a PI to save them. Then they got another set of downs, scored. Then they got the tipped ball at the line, intercepted that. I mean, yeah, everything was going. I mean, insane. Probably the best Sunday night game this year.
Ooh, what have been the Sunday night games this
I don't
year?
know. Maybe like Chiefs Ravens week 2 competes. The Packers 49ers like week 3.
Yeah, that was a good
I'd
one.
probably say it was best. Yeah, I'd go that far.
I would say so too.
But I mean, this was
just
crazy.
because it's just running up the score, both teams battling back and forth. One team, guys getting hurt. It was a fun game to watch. It was a very entertaining game to watch, to say the least. And that game makes a big difference in the freaking playoff push in the AFC, because if Pittsburgh won that game, they would be like half a game back behind Baltimore for the division and pretty much in a wild card spot. And now here they are sitting at 5-4-1 after a tie with the Lions. I mean, you're talking about 2 straight weeks where they probably should have won the games. And now they're, instead of sitting at 7-4, which would be the number 2 seed in the AFC right now, they are battling their ass off for a playoff spot.
at least
Happens.
if you're gonna look at the silver linings as a Steelers fan, you gotta at least see, take something away from how that game ended. Just try and keep that intensity. And a Mike Tomlin coach team, they'll be there at the end of the year. Seems like they always are.
I mean, if Big Ben plays like that, they could be dangerous. They were 11-0.
The worst 11-0 team in NFL history.
The absolute
Right,
worst.
I've had. Yeah.
Ever.
All right.
There's something different about this offense though with Najee Harris back there though. Like there is a tempo
He's
change.
that
He is really
Najee,
good.
who would you give offensive rookie of the year to? Najee or Jamar Chase?
Jamar.
I would probably go to Najee.
No way. You got to go Jamar. He's having the best rookie season since Randy Moss. You have to give it to Jamar.
It's a long season, Jake. We'll see. Right now, I'm just leaning.
We'll
I think
see.
the workhorse is just going to get it done for us in the long run.
I don't know. I feel like you got to get Jamar.
Najee is that offense for sure.
I'm telling you. Well, he opens up the run. You can throw the ball to him. Everything. He's a beast.
Derrick Henry stature type, like
yeah.
Was Bama,
I mean, it's not necessarily like a bad pick. I'm not saying like it sucks. But
One thing about this week though that I'm glad that happened is a lot of the teams that were like ahead in the conference, like it looked like for a second there Tennessee was starting to get a little figure themselves out a little bit in the AFC, and it looked like Dallas or Green Bay, one of those teams are just going to step up. And I mean, you're looking at Tampa's going into this game tonight, looking at losing 3 straight if they lose this one too. And there's a lot of parity in the NFL this year. I think I saw something that was like there's been the most games in an NFL season ever already that have been decided by less than 7 points or something like that already through this year.
Hey, that's what I say, man. If you don't
And also,
know,
game
take
in
the
the
points.
last play.
I think the Bucks got it. I think the Bucks got -11 in them tonight.
Before we wrap it up, LeBron got in a fight, or almost got in a fight. Isaiah Stewart wanted to murder LeBron James last night. I mean, he was.
I think I would have too.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a
the video of him. I mean, there's several videos, but just it looked to start like he was just like, all right, I'm gonna say something to him. And then everyone started pushing him, and I feel like it just like riled him up. I mean, the shot of his eye says it all. Like I would have wanted to probably kill him.
Oh yeah, he got.
I mean, yeah, just look at it.
Yeah.
That was a vicious
I mean,
one.
we've all been in a
tunnel.
situation
He wanted to kill
where you just see red. You get so angry, you just see red. You don't know what's going on with you. I feel like we've all been, at least I know I have. We haven't ever done that in the middle of a professional sporting event watched by millions and doing it against probably the most famous basketball player to ever play. Yeah, no, a little bit there. But there was definitely that one part where he was just pushing literally anyone and everyone who tried to get in his way. It was literally shades of Marshawn Lynch.
Remember, there was the part of Anthony Davis got like shoved down. He shoved like Anthony Davis down.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm honestly shocked that Like Stewart got suspended 2 games, LeBron got suspended 1. I'm shocked.
I don't like that. I don't like. Can I just say off the top? I don't like that LeBron didn't get 2 games just because the other dude. To me, LeBron should have got suspended more, if anything, because I would have been pissed off just as much. That thing looked like. LeBron didn't really see him. I'm sure it's a bang bang play, but it looked like LeBron put some effort into that punch.
Yeah,
Just a
dude,
little bit.
Yeah, but you
he knew what
got
he
to
was
at
doing.
least somewhat
Yeah,
control
exactly.
yourself, man. He was literally running over his own coaches and teammates. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Bleeding
Yeah,
right
yeah.
tail.
It's tough. It's a tough situation. You get elbowed in the eye. Yeah, you're gonna be pissed off. You can't just run like a maniac and knock anyone and everyone out in front of you.
He
Can't do that.
he
I don't
really
care
did.
what
He
happens.
looked like a rolling freight train.
He did. He was running like he was like a bull in a damn China shop.
But
You can't do that.
now
You can't do that.
poor guy's going to lose 2 game checks, and LeBron's going to lose a penny or 2 in his book.
I'll just write it off.
Then LeBron, you could tell LeBron was trying to apologize like when it first happened, but he just wasn't having it. How old is
I
that?
don't know. Here's
He
my
got
thing
to
about
be,
LeBron. I feel like
Or was he? Go ahead.
I feel like there was definitely some like movement there, but I feel like he wasn't like I definitely feel like LeBron wasn't like, all right, I'm about to elbow this bitch in the eye and then going in that free throw. I feel like that wasn't the mindset going into it. You know what I mean? Y'all not agree? Like the LeBron,
I don't know,
like
dude.
he's
Watch
never
the clip.
been.
He fucking rears back. I mean,
He definitely does.
he
He
rears the
definitely
fuck
throws that
back.
elbow, but I don't know if
I
my
think there's a
picture with
difference.
all that blood, I don't know if that was his intended end game.
Well, there's a difference between sticking the arm out, like trying to extend, keep him away. The regular box out type shit. I mean, he just did that, like just a whole boom, baby. Like get the fuck out.
That thing was powerful.
Get the fuck out of him. Fuck LeBron. Just fuck him.
Yeah,
Isaiah Stewart's 20 years old though, so that young rage trying to get after the old man.
That is nuts. He's 20 years old.
Yeah. First time he's probably ever met LeBron.
I guarantee it is his first time he's ever met LeBron. Look at him, man. Dude, he's going nuts.
Way to introduce himself.
Running through the clip of him running through the tunnel, like just because I kept expecting when I saw it, like for there to be like some calmness, like eventually, like because he's walking away at one point, and he's like, "All right, I'm good.
Yeah, he gets a little fake out.
He turns around, comes back, and then it's like, damn. So then then they push him out, everything. Then he starts running through the tunnel. Man on a mission.
He just had to catch his breath for that little pause. He forgot he was mad for a second.
And probably a really good business move for him. I promise you, I've never heard of this cat before today. And I remember his name for a couple years now. When every time he signs and in 2 years and his rookie deal runs up and he signs a new contract, this clip right here will come up, and whichever team signs him is going to be like, "Oh, I like this. We got a
He'll end up
dog. He ain't
playing
scared
with
of
LeBron.
nothing." Oh yeah, I could definitely
That'd be crazy.
I could definitely see that.
Change his name to Meta World Peace 2.
Yeah, it's always the Pistons players.
Always. There's something about living in
Palace.
Detroit.
This was
There's
probably
something
the
about living in
closest thing to
Detroit.
Mouse in the Palace since Mouse in the Palace.
Yeah. 2021's version.
Detroit doesn't have a lot to root for,
Yeah.
Except
the
for
Lions, the Pistons. They might get Carlos Correa. That's about it.
Is that the rumor right now?
Yeah, Correa to Detroit. You guys ever heard that one?
No, I haven't been really into
I haven't been keeping up with
free agent
Stove
stuff.
recently.
Yeah, honestly.
Tough. Bryce Harper and Otani won the MVPs.
Yeah, fuck Bryce Harper. It makes no sense. I don't get it. He wasn't an all-star.
Doesn't make
He didn't
sense.
get a single hit in the biggest series of the season.
Fuck him.
Jake.
No, okay, Caleb.
Just because you're a Braves fan.
No. Let me talk. He went. Look, when you are defining the most valuable player to your team, that means when everything matters the most, you got to come through. The fact is, in the last 6 games, he had 1 hit. In the last series against the Braves, where he could have made the playoffs, won the division, he went 0 for 12. He went over 12. He wasn't an all-star. At the end of the day, here's the thing.
He should have been an all-star.
Here's the thing about Bryce Harper. He was really damn good for about 3 months.
He should have been an all-star. And you talking about that last series, they don't get there without Bryce Harper's production this year. He was a monster in right field.
I mean, that's true, yeah. But, I mean, did they get there? Take away JT Realmuto. Do you think they're there? Nah, they're not there.
You can say that about anybody, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, I don't know. Who would you have given the vote to, Jake? Would it have been Fernando Tatis, the big name on the block?
Probably. He missed about 30 games and still was able
I
to
think
get
that's
40
why he
home
didn't
runs.
win it. He would have won if he would have stayed healthy if he would have missed 10 games. He would have won it.
Tatis is the same age as me.
What are we doing?
Tatis had more home runs, more RBIs. I mean, Harper had a better OPS by like 30 points.
He was
Who gives a
also.
fuck about
We also
OPS?
have to be sure to mention Tatis was horrible in defense this year in comparison with most of the league.
Yeah, he did.
I
change
would have probably
position.
given it the thing about Juan Soto. I think Juan Soto is I think that Juan Soto has become the most underrated player in MLB.
Oh, well, definitely, most definitely.
People think of him as just a good player. He's legitimately a top 3 player in the MLB. Give it to him over. I think
The new
that
Bryce
was what on
Harper
the
on
pod the
Nationals.
other day. I said I think I give it to Soto. I think he deserves it over. I here's my thing. I think Bryce Harper on my list is number 3. Obviously, that's not correct. That's not what the MLB sports writers say, but that's what Jay Johnson says, and I'm sticking to it.
Wow, you're not going to pull for Freddie Freeman or Austin Riley right there in that spot, Jake?
I think you probably could have given a argument for Riley. I don't think for Freddie. Freddie had an awesome season. I think Riley had the better stats though.
Just funny that the MVP only had 84 RBIs. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and the Braves had like 4 players that had more than that.
Yeah. Episode 46. Any last words?
Not too much. I mean, I got the Bucks -11 and the under tonight. Again, fade me on the next episode coming out. Fade my college football picks. Tail me on Sundays. All right, let's make some money together.
I mean, y'all know what that means. He is about to have the best college football week of his life.
You're damn right. He's coming out swinging.
All right, Caleb, any last words?
No, other than shout out to Man in the Arena. The documentary for Brady came out. If y'all hadn't seen it, it's pretty good. Also, for those listening, Midseason Hard Knocks is out. Episode drops tomorrow, number 2. So far, so good. They beat the Jags, took down Urban Meyer and the bartender in the first game that they recorded. So
Urban Meyer to Florida. Deep Shot Podcast, episode 46.
bring back criminals.